Let's go Broncos! There's been a shift, not just in pace, but also in preparation, health, and execution. And I'm about to tell you why everything you've heard about the upcoming game against the Bills is wrong. The truth? It's far more explosive than you imagine. But before I reveal all the details, don't forget to like this post if you believe this team is capable of surprising the world. And if you're rooting for the Broncos all the way, I want to see you in the comments saying, "Go Broncos!" My heart bleeds orange and blue. So, stick with me, because I'm going to explain exactly why Denver has the advantage, where Buffalo is quietly crumbling, and how this game could be decided even before the start of the fourth quarter. Now let's get into it because the stakes couldn't be higher. With the Buffalo Bills rolling into Denver for a playoff clash that's basically one win away from the Super Bowl, national media and Bills fans on Twitter are quick to play favorites. But the narrative they're pushing, it's got more holes than Swiss cheese, and I've got the receipts to prove it. First off, injury reports are telling a story that Broncos country needs to hear loud and clear. While Buffalo could barely manage a walk-through practice due to injuries, the Broncos had one of their longest padded practices of the season. That's not just routine, it's preparation at a championship level. And it's not just depth, it's health across the board. Denver's entire active roster practiced, while Buffalo is limping into this game, particularly at the wide receiver position. Get this, the Bills are so depleted at WR that their local news is showing clips of quarterbacks running receiver drills. Not because they plan to use them, but because they're dangerously low on actual receivers. 3 active WRs. That's it. That's desperation mode. And it gets worse for them. Their 2 biggest run-blocking receivers, Gabe Davis and Shavers, are both out. Those guys weren't just catching passes, they were clearing lanes for James Cook, their most explosive runner. Without them, the Bills' run game is in serious jeopardy. And here's the golden stat. When James Cook rushes for under 100 yards, the Bills are winless. 0-4. Yes, someone tried to twist that into 1-4, but the one game they won with Cook under 100 yards, he barely played, and the game was meaningless against the Jets. So let's keep it real, contain Cook, and you've practically booked your ticket to the next round. Why will Denver shut him down? Because since the Jonathan Taylor game, nobody has rushed for over 100 yards on the Broncos. And now, without those elite blocking WRs, Buffalo's strength in the run game gets neutralized. Even their own offensive coordinator once gave Gabe Davis the game ball for his blocking, not his receptions. That tells you everything. Altitude talk? That's another weak narrative getting thrown around. Yes, Josh Allen played college ball in Wyoming, but altitude acclimation doesn't last years. It's not like riding a bike. You leave, your body resets. So no, he's not magically prepared for Mile High just because of his college days. Buffalo's linebacker Shaq Thompson, who had a game-sealing interception against Jacksonville, is injured. Jordan Poyer, arguably the brain of their defense, is out. Ed Oliver, their game-wrecking DT, is questionable and might not make the cut because, remember, with this being a Saturday game, the Bills are on a shorter week and have to declare their roster decisions earlier. That's 5 rest days. Brutal. Then there's this hilarious attempt from Bills fans to argue their O-line will dominate because they weigh 229 pounds more than Denver's D-line. Newsflash, weight doesn't equal domination. Nick Benito has been schooling heavier offensive linemen all season. And the Falcons, whose front 5 weigh even less than Denver's, completely shut Buffalo down in one of their worst losses. So no, extra pounds aren't going to save Buffalo. The Broncos' defense is peaking at the perfect time, thanks to Sean Payton's snap count management. Last year, Zach Allen and Nick Benito were gassed by this point in the season. Not this year. They've played fewer snaps, they're fresh, and they're ready to explode. Allen still leads the NFL in QB hits, and he's done it with 167 fewer snaps than last year. It's not just that Buffalo's injured. Denver is legitimately good. Their roster is built to beat this specific Bills team. With Buffalo down 3 expected WRs, they'll rely heavily on tight ends. But Denver's secondary, led by Patrick Surtain, is built for this. No elite WR1? Perfect. That means Surtain will likely cover a tight end, and he's already proven how dominant he is in that role. Remember Travis Kelce? Christmas night? Surtain locked him down, targeted just twice on 7 snaps, 1 catch for a minimal gain. Brock Bowers? Nothing. Same with Ferguson and other big names this season. When Denver corners cover tight ends, those tight ends vanish. And when it's not Surtain, rookie Jaquan McMillian steps in, and he's already racked up highlight plays against some of the league's best TEs. He stopped Ferguson cold when he was considered the top tight end in the NFL and did the same against Washington. Oh, and let's talk about discipline. Playoff flags are down across the NFL, 40% lower than in the regular season. That's huge for the Broncos, one of the most penalized teams earlier in the year. Officials swallow the whistle in the playoffs, and with Carl Cheffers leading the ref crew, whose games have a 62% home team win rate advantage, Denver. Because if that defensive dominance continues, and there's every reason to believe it will, then the Broncos aren't just winning this game. They're announcing to the rest of the league that they are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. And it all starts up front. The Broncos' defensive line, fresher than it's ever been this late in the season, is built for moments exactly like this. Zach Allen is terrorizing quarterbacks, Nick Bonitto is leveled up as a pass rusher, and the rotation that Sean Payton managed all season is paying massive dividends. These guys are rested, hungry, and in rhythm. And when your defensive line is wreaking havoc, that trickles down to everything else. Linebackers play more aggressively, safeties can focus on coverage, and suddenly, that tight end duo Buffalo thinks is their secret weapon becomes a non-factor. Because when Josh Allen doesn't have time in the pocket, he forces throws, and we've seen what that leads to. This is a quarterback who has 18 turnovers this season. Pressure him, take away his checkdowns, and he starts taking risks. And when you've got Pat Surtain and Jaquan McMillian waiting in the secondary, that's when turnovers happen. But what's really flipping this game on its head is Denver's offense. Everyone's talking about Buffalo's injuries, but let's not overlook what the Broncos are bringing to the table. Russell Wilson, operating in Sean Payton's system, has quietly stabilized. He's protected the ball. He's kept drives alive. He's not putting up MVP numbers, but he doesn't have to. He's executing the game plan. And with the Bills missing key defensive players like Poyer and possibly Ed Oliver, there's a clear path for Denver to control the line of scrimmage, dominate time of possession, and keep Buffalo's offense off the field. Javonte Williams is running with authority again. The offensive line, which was once considered a liability, has developed into a cohesive unit, and Sean Payton has consistently found creative ways to get the most out of this roster. Screens, misdirection, and timely play action have kept defenses guessing. Against a banged-up Buffalo squad, expect Payton to dial up a masterclass. And if you need a little extra fuel, remember this, the Broncos are playing with house money right now. No one expected them to be here. No one expected a playoff push after that rough start. But this team clawed its way back, went on a dominant stretch mid-season, and is now fully healthy and ready to shock the world. This isn't a team limping into the postseason. This is a team ascending. Meanwhile, the Bills, they're fractured. They're trying to patch together a roster. They're arguing on social media. And they're heading into hostile territory at Mile High Stadium, where the altitude is real, the crowd will be deafening, and their depth will be tested like never before. And don't underestimate the psychological advantage here either. The Broncos are united. They're bought in. Every report from the locker room, every clip from practice, every interview from Sean Payton, this is a team that believes. And belief matters in the playoffs. That mental edge could be the difference in a close game. Let's not forget the Broncos have the momentum, the health advantage, and the matchup edge. From the secondary locking down tight ends, to the D-line collapsing pockets, to Russell Wilson managing the game and avoiding turnovers, this is a formula that wins in January. So now it's your turn, Broncos fans. What do you think will be the X factor in this game? Will it be Pat Surtain taking away Dalton Kincaid? Will it be Nick Bonitto causing chaos in the backfield? Or is it Sean Payton's play calling that will put Denver over the top? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you haven't already, and don't forget to subscribe because we've got more breakdowns and post-game coverage coming your way. Click on the video on the screen right now to see our full playoff preview, and until next time, go Broncos!